Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. So today I just want to share a recent pickup. It's just one, and the reason I'm going to share just the one is I wanted to share it's a recent REA auction pickup. So I guess auction ends, you pay quickly, and you're a prior client, they get it shipped out pretty quickly as well. So it came in the mail today. And yeah, super fast. So I was impressed. But very, very happy with the pickup. Just curious, how many of you guys are, where do you pick up most of your cards? Are you card shop, card show people? I know that the National and things like that, it seemed like people were saving up like a good portion of their yearly budget and looking for some big cards. I think maybe because of the way I collect, I don't really necessarily view it that way. I would, I want to do Strongsville and maybe the National, but it's more so for the community and for the, just a chance to maybe meet some dealers in person. And I'm sure I'll find some things that are interesting. That's never too hard to do. But I think for the most part, what I'm looking at is, REA, who else? Golden. I'm trying to think of all the big auction houses that we see, and then obviously eBay still has things pop up, and then honestly Facebook groups have been pretty phenomenal. I found some really cool hard to find things there too. So yeah, just to share. So this was one, and I would say REA, Heritage, all those, when you look at what they have, they kind of go through some peak auctions where it's, holy cow, it's stuff that's in the news kind of things out there. And then there's usually some smaller, kind of interim auctions where, you still find some really cool things, especially if your budget isn't, 5 and 6 figures. But if you're looking for something that's cool, that's, in the hundreds or maybe $1,000, there's a lot out there. This was honestly probably even the top few purchases I've ever made for a single card. So this one was a big deal for me. So it has a comma. I'm not a 5-figure shopper by any means. But it definitely has a comma. So what I was able to win and pick up, it's funny because the label says 1907 to 19. That's not true. It's actually been discovered that it's a 1910. So it's a novelty cutlery postcard. So there's a set of 25. There's Wagner, there's Johnson, there's Cobb, there's Mathewson. So it is really a who's who heavy hitter of the day. But it is 1910. And as I explain more of how I collect, yeah, I try and collect some rare, unique, odd, cool things, and I do get some of the bigger names. I do have some Cobbs and a Ruth card or two and things like that. But for the most part, I like the guys that are on the periphery. Either they're underappreciated, they're 1A Hall of Famers, just maybe not as recognized, but it's a way to get into a lot of really unique, cool sets too. So I think the Wagner, there were several from this set available. I think the Wagner went for $8 or $9 grand. So you're talking, maybe a third of that is what you'd get something like this. But I picked up Mordecai Brown. Now, a couple things I like about this. It's a 2.5. Total population, PSA, SGC is 10. There's 6 with PSA, 4 with SGC. That's all I could really find anywhere. Sales are, once every few years at most. This one won't be for sale again for hopefully a really long time, 40, 50 years. So, once you take that out of play, now your population drops effectively. So it is a postcard back. But with a population of 10, how do you comp that? What's that really worth? It's worth what someone's willing to pay for it. So unfortunately, you don't get to say, oh, the last 4 of them sold for this. So for me, it was either add this to the Mordecai Brown collection or don't. And I see this frequently. When I look at populations, there might be an A or a 1. There's some 2s and 2.5s and things, but there's also some 4s and 5s. So if this goes for X, a 4 and a 5 is going to go for X times 2 times 3, and it's going to get really, really expensive. So now that's that's no longer in like my population, because now that's just outside the realm of anything I really could realistically afford. One day, whatever. But as income goes up, also probably so does the price of the card. So sometimes it's a matter of jump now. Will I ever see it again? And also population-wise, is it really in the realm of what I can afford? Sometimes I pull the trigger on that where I just see it might be a population of 100, 150, but there's only 18 ones. Okay, so really my population's 18, because by the time it gets to a 2 or a 3, it's out of my price range. When this gets to a 4, you start talking, $7,000, $8,000. That's not the realm right now, but that's what the flip looks like. They're all wrong. It is 1910. It's been proven. So they list them as 3-finger brown, which is kind of cool. What I love about these, and one of the reasons I have so many different brown cards, if you look at that, you zoom in really, really, really tight on the image of his hand. Talk about a story. And I'll explain more. Brown is probably in the top 3, I guess, people I collect. I talk a lot about Sisler and Musial, but I think Brown is probably number 3. And then Barra and a few other guys are in there. But for the oldest historic, Johnson and Mathewson are on my list, and I wish I could say Cobb and some of those guys, but Brown is who I collect the hardest, because when you want to get into a really rare set, a lot of times, the Mathewson's $3,000 and the Brown's 700. Well, guess what? I'll take a Brown. And his story is still amazing. He's from Indiana, so A+ for that. Pitched for the Cubs. Was amazing. Went head to head with Mathewson frequently, and was more or less a 50-50 winner. I was looking, he had 2 years in his career where he led the league in complete games and saves in the same season. What? So yeah, he is, he's off the charts, cool to learn about. Didn't start in the majors till he was like 26 and was out of the league before he was 40. So he had a really short career. He was over 100 games over 500. His ERA was barely over 2. I will sell you on why Mordecai Brown is an awesome, awesome historical figure and somebody you should collect. But that's one of the reasons I search him out. But when I see things like this at auction, I jump at it. I think it's awesome. It's such a cool image. It's so unique. So many just cool things about it. So, and this entire run, just the whole design of the card is so cool. It's just such a neat design. The decorative angles to it and things is just really, really neat. So, that's my most recent auction pickup. One of my biggest pickups of my life, in terms of overall value of one card. So, just curious, do you guys, anyone out there auctioning? I know some of you are big time auctioneers, and you're frequently in there and you're bidding on things that I can only pretend to scroll past because there's no reason for me to slow down too long on it, except to drool and wish. But just curious, you guys hit the auctions, any good wins? And, please share. I love seeing the comments light up with folks, sharing their experiences and adding value. So appreciate learning along with you. I will see you on the next one.